These are on their way. Who had we got? That's Mandy Gilmore and Rachel Wright, for dietitians, and we found that very interesting, didn't we, Len?
It was very interesting.
Yeah, because
but you are what you eat.
Yeah.
And so are your pets.
So are your pets, indeed. And we have talked about it before in relation to pets. Liam Fitzsimmons is from the Newry Veterinary Centre over in Patrick Street, and it's good to see you again. But it's been a wee while because you've been busy. You've been out, you've been about, and you're getting things done. We're moving towards, how is business at the moment? The
business is good.
Big animals are about still?
Springtime is over, so large animals are relatively quiet, and small still constant. It's constant all year round. Exactly.
I did that the other day at a field up at Grinan,
and they came over
and
to you?
the entirety of the field came up to the fence.
Yeah.
Isn't that amazing? They're hugely curious creatures. There's no two ways about it. I can't get over it. And they look at you and they just...
When I have buzzards out around the house, and they whistle, and if you whistle back at them, they'll actually come and circle over you to see what's going on.
Wow.
They're amazing animals.
You find the buzzard amazing. Is my phone there and I'll show you something?
Is just...
Did I ever show you my buzzard?
No.
Oh, I did. I brought it to you. And we dispatched it. We had to. It was injured on the Point Road.
I thought you had another one.
No. This is the old one. I took the photograph of him at the time, and it was really awfully good, you know.
It's one of the success stories over here. For 25 years ago, there wasn't a buzzard in this country.
Really?
I know of, yeah.
What has made it successful?
I honestly do not know. I don't know whether they were introduced or what, but...
The red kite has been introduced.
And they were poisoned there.
They were poisoned, yeah. And Jim Wells of the political shed, he's the man at Stormont who's the chairman of the Raptor group.
Yeah.
So it's all good, isn't it?
They're amazing animals, raptors.
Yeah, they are. They're
beautiful.
They're the ultimate survivors, really.
They are.
You know, the peregrine falcon is one of the fastest animals on earth. This thing goes high.
Is it 220 miles an hour, something like a swoop at?
Yeah.
There's a 2 or 3G. There's greater gravitational force in a fighter plane or a fighter jet.
Amazing. It's not a bad way for a quarry to go, you know, if he's hit from above, not knowing anything.
Quick.
Wow, he's gone, and then whatever. So the weather affects the creatures as well. Now we're in for a week. Next week it's going to be very hot indeed. Yes,
I haven't seen the forecast that far ahead.
It's going to be warm, and people, you know, I don't understand people with huge furry creatures, people with this, that, and the other.
Lock them in cars. That's the dangerous one. Also, they need water. And probably appetite won't be as good. The warm weather dogs will not eat as much.
Yeah.
But they definitely need access to water and fresh air.
Constantly so. I know people who have alpacas. They have about 40 of them out in the country. They're kith and kin of my own. She's a McCormack, the girl. Lovely people. We actually buried her mother yesterday. Ailish, my aunt, the last survivor of the Handland of girls, my father's side of people. But they love the alpacas. They get them for their wool.
I was going to say, do they use them for wool?
Yeah, wool. And what else would they be used for? I don't think people eat alpacas.
Not in this country,
no,
but not yet.
Not yet, unless we come to need it. So specialisms like that, it's doable. I remember once there were a couple of ostriches down looking over the gate in Omeath on the way into Omeath.
Yeah, ostriches
15 years ago, but it didn't work.
Didn't work. No. I think our climate's wrong. It's too wet for the featherage.
Yeah.
Or the plumage, and their problems. They were also very expensive.
Yeah.
I remember there's a neighbour at home. He bought a stud, an ostrich male.
Yeah.
I think it was £1,500 or £2,000.
God.
Absolutely huge money. And it was to be the new food, low in cholesterol, good for you, and all the rest.
It's all,
but prohibitively expensive in restaurants.
Yeah, it's all. But how do they ever manage to get them into ovens? This is the thing.
The roasting tin and the baker foil.
And the baker foil, it puts a new image to the whole thing.
Yeah.
So the smaller animals are coming into their own at this time of year for you. What are you dealing with?
Let's see. We had 8 hovervarts in this morning.
What?
Hovervarts. They're like a
hovering fox.
They'd be an unusual breed of dog.
Yes.
I'm not quite sure where they're from. I assume they must be Dutch or that's Northern European.
Yes.
A lady down in Ravensdale has them, so they should 8 pups and they run in for vaccination. And they're all bar one going to England. They've all been.
Now that lady would not fit this category, but I'm sure people still exist in this category. Puppy farmers, that still happens.
Puppy farming is huge. I think Ireland is the biggest producer of pups in the whole of Europe.
Joking.
Or in America, they're puppy mills. And it's the Amish or the puppy farmers of America.
Really? Mm-hmm. And they seem so placid and wonderful a people.
That's it. It's worth Googling images of the puppy. They call them puppy mills in America.
Puppy
to see how it's done.
Yeah.
Cages.
Yeah.
Yes, puppy farming is still huge. We see them on a daily basis. People who have spent £200 to £400 in pups, no pedigrees, meet people in car parks, and some of the dogs have serious medical, physical conditions. And they're not contactable when they go back to the breeder.
Goodness gracious.
Or they don't want to know.
Yeah,
of course, a reputable breeder will be interested.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah.
I would always advise somebody looking for a pup, ring the kennel club.
Aye.
And ask for the breed secretary of the breed you're interested in. And they will know every good breeder in the country with pups.
I remember when I got my first elk hound 45 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
I went to Oldcastle in County Meath, to one family there who lived in quite some splendour, and that's where I got the dog. But I had to travel and I had to locate.
Probably a day's journey then.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely, exactly as you describe. I had to check out first of all on the Kennel Club web where I'd find such a creature, you know. But the
sad thing is people don't think when they're buying pups, or maybe it's the effect that the pups have on our brains, like babies. Brains turn to mush and all logical behaviour goes out the window.
Yeah, yeah.
It's how much. Give me the pup. Here you go. Thank you.
But it's also, you know, the paying of the money is perhaps the relatively easy bit of it for the people who have the money to do it. But it's the realization that this pup is of a disposition that requires the pup to see you as maybe the leader of its pack.
That's it.
And you've got to fulfill that role.
And getting the pup home, I say getting the pup home is the easy bit. That's how you train the pup and interact with the pup is the important thing. And they regard you as part of their pack.
Yeah.
The family.
Whether leader or not.
Exactly, yeah.
Maybe. And if you demonstrate leadership.
And if you don't demonstrate leadership, they will become leader.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Or they will try to become leader, and that's where serious problems arise in the house with dogs.
Yeah.
Another one is the border collie. Someone said if you don't give a border collie a job, it will become self-employed, which is true.
It'll do its own thing.
It'll do its own thing. It'll chase cars,
chase everything.
Chickens, really abnormal behaviour. They need exercise and work.
You know, obviously your practice in Newry, you're one of the top veterinary practices in the land.
I don't know about that.
It's very important it's very important if you're getting a dog, or any kind of pet, possibly more importantly a dog, to establish a good relationship, to find a good veterinary practice.
It's very important to find a good veterinary practice.
And to have
for advice, if nothing else. It's surprising the number of people who go to quacks. I suppose it's the same in every aspect of human life. They will listen to everybody, but, well, I shouldn't blow my own trumpet, but someone that does know.
Aye, aye. Well, you should actually, if you don't mind me saying so, you should blow your own trumpet.
Yeah.
Because that's the way people will know.
If you're in doubt, ring your vet.
Aye.
Vets will speak to you at the end of the phone. There's no charge for it.
Yeah.
But don't be scared to ring a vet.
Look, are there some dogs? I remember once I went down to Meath to do a nationwide programme on the White Witches of Meath. Yeah. And I was taken into a log cabin in the middle of an estate. And there were wood-burning stoves in it. This was the family of a proper family. But the father and the mother were involved in the White Witches of Meath.
Did they have wolves?
No wolves that day. But there was a mountain dog breed that they had in cages, a cage in the house.
I think that place has wolves now.
It may have wolves. Now, it's an iconically beautiful place.
And do they have sort of a mini Newgrange in the middle of the estate where you can go into?
Yes, yes, that's there. But when I went, the the creature, this, I just fell in love with this massive dog. A Bernese?
Bernese Mountain Dog.
This is a big fella.
Yeah.
And it's just such a lovely, lovely creature. But he will live, perhaps, less. He will not survive as easily or as long as a Jack Russell because of his carrying
size.
weight and size and joints and heart.
Cardiomyopathy is what kills the big dogs. Yeah. The larger breeds will get 8, 9, 10, 11 years, whereas Jack Russell could get 14, 15, up to 21.
Really? Yeah. And then you multiply that by 7 to let you know the equivalent in. What is it in his lame? I have to say, I do enjoy having a dog around. I don't have a dog anymore because my lifestyle doesn't suit it. But what is it within us that makes us need creatures?
Very good question. Dogs, in some respect, have become children to us. The number of people that come into us with their dog, and the dog is treated like a child. Whereas 20 years ago in this country, dogs would have been very much outside. If somebody had a dog in the house, they were looked at, you know.
Yeah.
Whereas now, I would say 75% of all households have a dog in the house that's on the couch and possibly in the bed.
I've heard this said. There's one, goodness gracious, it's amazing. And then too, that's not always a bad thing. I have people I know in Dublin. I see them at weekends, and one old man in particular, he lives alone. He doesn't have much. Through the worst of the winter, he would have been very, very cold. He's not the perfume of an orchard.
Yeah, I know the type.
And he was telling me about the wonderment of his dogs. He has 2 dogs.
And dogs probably have a hot water bottle or a
and they sleep with him on the bed. You know, on the bed.
A lot of dogs actually sleep in bed. Well, it's a good thing or a bad thing.
But it's good for him because he has nothing. He has no heat.
It's also company.
It's company as well, and it's all.
My mother is similar, but my father died 2 years ago. And funny, one of the neighbours said to me that she had said the only thing about the dog at home is he can't speak.
Can't speak. Yeah.
If he could talk, he would be the perfect companion.
Well, I remember, you know, the fellow who went to the psychiatrist, and he said, Doctor, I have this problem. I think I'm a dog. And the doctor says, well, look, there's no problem with this. We'll sort it out for you. Get up on the couch there. He says, I'm not allowed to. So are there dogs that we should definitely not have in and around the house? Quite apart from the vicious ones.
I don't know. I think legislation wouldn't agree with me, but it should be deed and not breed.
Deed and not breed, yeah.
Whereas with the legislation, it is breed and not necessarily deed.
Deed, yeah.
Never trust any dog around a child, I would say.
Yeah, because the child is
vulnerable. And the dog can be jealous.
Yeah. Oh.
So I would trust no dog with a child, or very, very few dogs.
Yeah.
But all dogs are. I have a wolfhound at home. He doesn't get into that. Well, he gets into the house occasionally.
Yeah.
But he'll come in and he loves to sit on the couch, the 2 back legs out and the front legs on the ground. He took up the whole couch.
Yeah.
But he's too big and too unmanageable in the house and too uncouth.
But if you keep him outside all the time, wherein is the value of him?
I know that. And he loves getting into the house.
He does, yeah.
He loves lying in front of the fire.
And why do they love the crate that if you get a dog a crate and you have it in the house like a cage, a big one, and if you're going to keep him in the kitchen, at night time he'll go into that, and he loves going into it.
His domain and security. It's his house.
Goodness gracious. It's wonderful. And the problem with you, for you, is that when you have a dog or a creature in, this is why you're cleverer than the doctors of the land for humans.
I wouldn't be so sure.
You can't ask them what's wrong with them.
Yeah.
You got to figure it out.
And sometimes it's not easy. And sometimes there can be nothing wrong with them. It can be the owner.
Yeah, of course. Well,
but the owner would always know their animal better than I do. And I would always listen to the owner. If the owner says there's a problem, I have a stethoscope and thermometer and what little common sense God's given me.
Aye.
But if the owner says there's a problem, then you have to investigate further.
Yeah. I was probably one of the worst dog owners, because I remember you were very good to me at the time. I had to put, or chose to put, Rocky down.
I remember that.
Rocky and I had become inseparable, totally inseparable. But my human life was making demands on me that were taking me into situations that Rocky could not be in. And there was a small health issue there, but it was only a small, it could have been dealt with. I had a huge decision to make. And the one thing I didn't want Rocky to be would be a street dog running around if he had been given to into a wrong situation. And we dealt with that, but that affected me greatly. I couldn't. And you're very kind.
It's probably one of the hardest things in people's lives is to lose a pet, or to have to make a decision like that.
But I think I think it's important for people who have dogs to realise that maybe that's the kind of decision that sometimes has to be made.
You have to be responsible.
Yeah. It's the number one
thing is, if you do rehome a dog, you're never quite sure where it goes.
That's the point.
Or it's going to get the same attention and love that it got with you.
That's the point. Like, I knew that the act of dispatch,
it's instantaneous.
Like
it's painless.
I think I commented on the day that there'd be people up on the house on the hill in the hospital would love an injection like that. It would just be the end of it. And but it broke. You were very, very good, and even the business of money and other. You chased me away, and I didn't see you for a month afterwards, and you understood.
But
you understood the tears that came.
Anybody that has put a dog down, I've put dogs down. I put a dog down a month ago, one of my own, and you feel everybody's dog's special to them. And there's pain involved. There is a great pain and a great loss. Great loss.
The pain of loss is there. But people who need to do it should be aware that it's not necessarily, it's not at all pain for the dog.
No, it's not. It's an anaesthetic, count to 10, 1, 2, 3,
that's
4,
gone.
and they're away to sleep.
Oh, I remember so well, he just sunk back into my arms.
Yeah.
And there was no problem. It was just amazing. But responsibility is the big word that we use here.
Responsibility is very, very important. And take care of them, but they need to be taken care of.
Get a good vet, and to build the relationship with a vet.
That's it.
That's it. Thank you so much for coming in.
You're
going back to operate, are you?
Going back to finish clinic and to operate.
What's on your list today?
Not very much. Friday tends to be a relatively quiet day. We try to get insurance forms done and things like that on a Friday.
Boring.
Exactly. Give me blood and guts any day.
Blood and guts.
Thank you very much.
Yes. Go well. That's Liam Fitzsimmons from the Newry Veterinary Centre.